Hello! So, welcome back. We are in week 5, training 2, and today we're going to look at sales conversations. Again, I think I've explained in the last training, it's something I feel so passionate about. I absolutely love it. And the reason that I want to chat to you about sales conversations today is because, as per the previous training, it is essential. Sales is the one thing that's standing between you and the life of your dreams. Selling what you offer, selling your product, selling your service, and selling it in an authentic way so that you don't feel icky or sleazy. So when we look at the purpose of today's training, it's basically to equip you so that you can smash all sales conversations and become epic at them. I enjoy sales conversations right now. I absolutely love them because I genuinely know that I'm helping and I genuinely care. And I think it's about redefining sales, which we did in the last training, but also to help you smash all of your sales conversations. And those sales conversations can be a one-to-one to bring people on board for your consultancy or coaching services, or they can be when you're discussing a product that you have and the benefits of that product and conveying it to your client as well. So all I'd ask is that when we go through this step-by-step process is that you adjust it as you feel necessary. And the reason that I'd like you to do that is because not everything's going to work for every person, but it's about you finding your flow and finding what works best for you, and to use some trial and error. And if part of that could be that you always are creating more sales conversations than you could possibly work with the number of people you're having them with, you're in a much better position. So let's look at what we'll cover today. So the first thing that we're going to cover is the 4 types of customers that you'll come across and how you can identify these people, because this is absolutely essential and it's so key. And then we're going to look at how to generate more sales conversations. Again, I'm going to refer you back to your sales funnel and make sure that that's working. And then we're going to look at a step-by-step sales conversations made easy and a 3-step process that we're looking at breaking it down for you. So, as I said in the last training, imagine selling every day for 4 years. That's what I did. Every single day, imagine having a sales conversation or a sales appointment. I would go to people's houses and I absolutely loved it. And when I was there, I always used to walk in thinking, how can I help these people? I can help them. I can help them. And it totally changed my approach. But still, I would come across 4 different types of customers that you will meet. And you will meet these people because these are essentially the only types of customers that there are. And first of all would be the wrong placers. The wrong ones. They will never ever buy from you. They won't. They have no intention of buying from you. And it's really difficult because you walk in, you've kind of pepped yourself up, you're really excited, and you can kind of tell that they don't want to work for you and that you're not the right person. It could be people doing market research, because I know that some of you have done that. Or it could just be you're not right for these people. You're not a right fit personality-wise, the way that you present yourself, your message, it's not right for them. But stop taking offense. If people don't want to work with you, that's their problem. If you're building a sales funnel so that you have your pick of customers, that's absolutely fantastic. But all you have to do is be polite to these people and don't take offense if they don't want to buy from you. That's all I ask. Because essentially being polite means they might know someone in the future who will want to buy from you and will potentially remember your politeness. We cannot guarantee it. There's a danger to become defensive if somebody doesn't want to buy from you and go, well, that's my prices, because it's always to do with price, isn't it? No, we know that it's not. Or there's a danger to knock your own morale and to knock your own self-esteem and turn around and say, well, this is what I offer. What more do they want from me? Just let it go. Let it be. It's like going on online dating and somebody not wanting to go on a date with you. On paper, they might sound like the ideal guy, but if they don't want to go on a date with you, that's absolutely fine. Just keep swiping till you find that right person. And the next customer, the second type of customer, is the purchasers. And these are people that are going to buy, so they're ready to buy and they want to buy from you. So you have to have a system in place that allows them to buy from you immediately. Get ready to sign them up. So do you have your system in place? So do you have a way of taking payment from them straight away? Do you have your terms and conditions already set up so you can send them across? Do you have your business plan that you're ready to send across to them? Do you have your online contract? There will be people that will say, today I want to buy from you. And you don't want to huff and puff and say, oh, well, I'll get this across. Oh my God, I can send this, at some stage. No, same day, you send across a way for them to sign up. That's like going into a shop to get a paper and looking around and realizing there's no checkout, and them saying, oh, I didn't think that anyone was going to come in and buy a paper today. I thought people were going to come in for their big weekly shopping, so I didn't have the checkout ready. No, absolutely not going to happen. People will want to buy from you, and you need to be ready to sign them up straight away or have solutions for them that they can buy really, really quite quickly. Now, we're going to come into the final two. And this is where it gets a bit tricky, because this is where you're not quite sure. Because a yes and a no are easy to deal with. If they don't want to work with you, that's fine. If they do want to work with you, that's amazing. Let's get them signed up. But then there's two other types of customers that you're going to come across. And these are the ones that are influenceable. So they're definitely going to buy. They're going to buy your workshop. They're going to buy a workshop. They're going to buy a product. They're going to buy a coaching service. And they may buy from you. So they're not quite convinced yet that you're the right person for them. So your job when you're talking to these influenceable people is to generate a relationship with them so that you can demonstrate a clear understanding of what they want. And you do that through the sales conversation. You show that you are the right person and own the communication and the follow-up. So if people are definitely in the market for what you offer, but not quite sure you're the right person, your job is to ask the right questions, get to the root of what they want, and to show that you're the right person. Now, the next people are undecided. So they may buy, and if they buy, who knows, they may buy from you. So these are the kind of people that are thinking about it. They're dipping around the outside. They're not quite sure they don't want to dive in. So again, your job is to keep in contact with them until they're ready to buy. So you use your email newsletter, you use your social media, and you build relationships with them so that when they are ready to buy, you can influence them so that they can buy from you. So you can then demonstrate that you're the right person. So to keep in contact with these last two types of clients, it's about your sales conversations, but it's also about your email newsletter, your social media, because it's not just for the people that want to buy straight away. There's going to be people who want to buy from the future. Now, I'll use the example that I've used quite a few times. It's when I'm ready to buy foundation. Met with a friend and she was talking about like foundation. I'd literally just bought one. So I may buy and I may buy their foundation in the future, but it's not my job to keep in contact with me. If I'm a potential customer, it's your job to turn around and say, well, how long does your foundation normally last you? What do you like most about it? What are the benefits? And then maybe if I say, well, my foundation lasts for 3 months and I bought it a month ago, in a month and a half, you send me a trial foundation bottle and you say, here's a trial, try it and come back to me. It is that simple. It really, really is that simple. Don't overcomplicate it. But these are the 4 types of customers that you'll come across. So you need to get to know these customers and you must change your approach to suit them. If somebody doesn't want to buy from you, you're going to treat them differently. You're still going to be really polite, but you're not going to spend as much time and energy signing them on as someone who's ready to sign up now. Don't take offense. Remember your sales funnel. Remember you are marketing to more clients than you could ever possibly work with. Okay? So just you remember that. You remember that you're ready to work with these people. You don't need somebody straight away, and get your systems in place. You have to have your system so you can sign people up and you can take advantage, because I can tell you this, as somebody who loves to buy, you might lose me if you're not able to take my money off me straight away. I once went to book a spa weekend at a raw food place. This is about 2 years ago, before I worked with the raw food coach. And I was really, 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 really keen to buy it. I'd just been paid, I had money in my bank account, and I went online, but I wasn't able to make a phone call because I was sitting at my desk in my office job that I had, and they couldn't take payment online. I couldn't do the booking online, and because I couldn't phone, I didn't book it. Because this was a Friday. By the time I got home, other things entered into my mind. As I said, I'd just been paid. I went out and I spent a fortune on crap that weekend. So by Monday, I couldn't afford to go on this weekend again. So get your systems in place so you can take the money now. So let's look at how we can generate more sales conversations or inquiries. First of all, and I will drill this home, create a fully effective sales funnel. So all your sales funnel is the journey that you take people through from when you make them aware of what you offer right down to when they buy from you. Every day, work on reaching new potential clients and take them through this funnel. If you're not working with clients, you should be working on your sales funnel. This is a non-negotiable. What else are you going to do? Admin? No, fuck off. You have to be focusing on your sales. It is all about your sales, and it's not about being sleazy. Remember, selling is helping. So all you're trying to do is find more people that you can help. Follow the 10 non-negotiable rules of marketing that we looked at in week 3. Make sure you've got call to actions in your Facebook posts, in your blog posts, and make sure that you're consistently following these rules. Offer strategy sessions, introduction sessions, sales conversations through social media, email, video, etc. And continue to promote your product-based business to the right audience so that you're constantly at the right events, you're constantly in front of the right people so that you can deal with them. So let's look and move on to the 3 steps to smashing sales conversations. And I love this because it's so simple. Once you master it, it's so easy because, again, when we look at the myths of selling, it's not about you. It's about your client. And we can break down smashing sales conversations into 3 simple steps. First, get your prep sorted. You need to prep for these sales conversations. 2, enjoy the sales conversations, and I'll give you a step-by-step process so that you can follow this, so that you're not stressing, you're not panicking. At first, you'll probably have to refer to some notes, but over time it will become like second nature. And then 3, follow up effectively. Now, this is a 3-step process, and it doesn't work if you ignore any part of the process. It really doesn't. You don't want to overcompensate in one part because you've forgotten the rest. You really want to do these 3 steps to the best of your ability. So number 1, get your prep sorted. Now, I love getting your prep sorted because it's about being prepared. That's all I'm asking, is that you're ready for it. And by being prepared, it's basically switching the mindset from you to your client and trying to find out as much about your client as you possibly can so that you can make it a lot easier for you during that sales conversation. And the best way that you can do that is to send a pre-sales conversation questionnaire. You can use Google Forms for free or SurveyMonkey. There'll be a charge eventually for this. Or you can ask questions in advance that will help you on the day. So basically, use Google Forms. So maybe you want to ask questions, you want to position it like, our time together is limited, so please answer these short questions so I can ensure that you get the most out of our time together. In order for me to best serve you, please let me know X, Y, and Z. Before we go any further, am I okay to just check X, Y, and Z? And it's really about approaching it in a language that you'll use, in phrases that you'll use that work for you and your personality. So number 1, getting your prep sorted. What do you need to know? So what would be really handy for you on the day, or really handy for you to prepare in advance? So maybe it's the business and personal details. So maybe you want to know like their name, website address, email details, some personal details if you're selling your product, and what they'd like to achieve. So what they'd like to get out of the sales conversation, or what they'd like to achieve working with you overall. What their goals are for the future. What frustrates them about other options available right now? You know, what have they tried in the past to achieve these results that has or has not worked? And how committed are they to achieving the results that they want? Now, guys, once you create this, you can always update it, especially through Google Forms. But I tend to make it really, really easy. So I'll make it something that they can complete in less than 5 minutes. And I'll tell them that. It's going to be a survey you can complete in less than 5 minutes. I use a Google form for this that I can have branded. And I keep all the responses so it acts like market research and content for my blog. So when I ask people what they've tried in the past, and they say they've paid for one-to-one coaching, or they've done this, that, or the other, what that basically means is I can turn around and assess that and write a blog on it. Does that make sense? So After we've got our prep sorted and we know exactly what we want, we move on to the sales conversation itself. And I've created a simple roadmap for you that you can adjust and follow as you see fit. Remember, this is about what works best for you. It's not necessarily something just because I've said to do it. But basically what we want to do during the sales conversation is to build rapport. It sounds really simple. Build rapport. Then we, as the salesperson, as the expert, are going to set the agenda. Then we're going to establish what's going on in their life right now. What's their current reality? What do they want in the future? Then we're going to cost the gap. And what that basically means is put a price, or get your customer to put a price on what will happen in their life if they don't achieve what they want. Then we're going to check their commitment for achieving what they want. We're going to offer a diagnosis and recommending a solution. We're going to handle any questions. So we want to handle those questions well in advance. And in handling the questions, it can be questions about the investment or about the price. And we're going to take payment and sign people up. And again, this roadmap you can adjust as you want, but in the worksheets, we are going to create your roadmap. So when we're looking at building rapport, it's your job to create the right environment. Always ready that you are always remember that you are helping them. You're not selling to them. Okay, so it's about how you can help them. So thank you for taking the time to chat to me today. I'm excited to get to know you better, and make that genuine. Be genuinely excited about the fact that you're going to change their lives for the better with your product or service. And after you've built rapport, we want to set the agenda, and we want to move into this quite quickly because this is not a chat. You know, you might think, oh my God, this is the nicest person I've ever met. This is amazing. But it's still a professional relationship, and you are the expert trying to help these people as best you can. So we really, really need to set the agenda as quickly as we possibly can. So maybe you want to say, hi, Tracy, it's a pleasure to speak with you. I've been reading through your answers to the questions you answered, and before we delve into these, let's go into how this call will go today. It will take around 30 minutes, and we will talk about your key challenges in X area. I'll offer one solution and some ways I can help should we work together. How does this sound? Maybe you could say, hi, Mary, it's absolute pleasure to have you here today. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to try and find out exactly what you want from a workshop, what type will work best for you, and then we're going to offer some suggestions. How does that sound? So just totally explain what's happening and let them let you know if they've got any questions. You know, it's like when you go in to get your hair done and they come over and they set the agenda and say, you know, what would you like today? What kind of haircut? Are you keeping the style the same? Are you going for the same color? What kind of cut would you like? We're just doing the same thing. We're just setting the agenda, because otherwise, before you know it, they've got the tinfoil in your hair and you might want something completely different. And then we want to establish what's happening in their life and business right now. So what type of results are they creating? You know, let's ask them, what type of results are you creating? What are you experiencing in? Tell me about your business and what you do. Tell me a little bit more about yourself. So whatever questions you need to ask to find out about their life right now. So you know, what's your fitness levels? What are your income levels if you're trying to sell them your network marketing business? What are you looking for in a workshop? What are you looking for in your wedding jewelry? You know, try and find out what they're at right now and what they want to achieve in the future. So I would say, imagine we were working together 12 months from now. What must have happened in your life or business for you to feel completely accomplished and happy with your progress? How fantastic a question is that? Imagine we were working together 12 months from now. What must have happened in your health for you to feel completely accomplished and happy with your progress? What must have happened in your fitness levels? What must have happened in your home life? If we were talking after the wedding, what would have happened on the day to make it the best day ever? So that way you can chat to them about your jewellery and how it works. If we were talking after the hen do, what would have happened to make it the best day ever? So if you're selling your workshops on the hen do, try and find out as much information as you possibly can. And then we want to cost the gap. So listen. When you're asking the questions about their current reality and what they want, everything you do, you are freaking listening to them. It's all about them. And then you relay what you've heard using the words that they have used for you. So I am hearing that you want to fit into your size 10 jeans within the next 3 months, because if you don't, you will feel awful at your friend's wedding, or size 10 clothes. So if I understand correctly, you are saying you want to earn £3,000 a month from your business so you can give up work and spend more time with your family, because otherwise you feel like you're missing out on your kids growing up. Cost the gap. Tell them what will negatively happen, because they've already told you, if they don't work with you. And then you're going to check the commitment. So how important is it for you to achieve this? Let them tell you. On a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to achieving this? They need to tell you. And the next stage in the sales conversation is offering the diagnosis and recommending a solution even. Now, this is where you tell them about what you're going to offer. This is where you're going to tell them about the amazing things that you have to offer. From what I've heard so far, it sounds like my X package would be a great fit for you. I designed it specifically for clients looking to achieve X so that they could go on to do Y. And the investment is X with a payment plan available. Yeah. Can you use urgency and scarcity when offering the diagnosis and recommending a solution? So remember, if you are marketing yourself and promoting yourself to more people than you could ever work with, over time you will have more people interested in working with you than you could possibly work with. So maybe you could say, I've got the capacity to take on 2 more clients this month. Really enjoy working with you. I would need to know by X date if you wanted to go ahead. Or I've only got the capacity to take on 1 more. Scarcity, make it obvious that, you're only running 1 more workshop. So when I ran Success in 6, the people that didn't sign up, I told them I am not running this again until January. I can't. There is no way for me to do it. So it is absolutely true. And what that meant was I had more people sign up, but I also have more people interested in signing up in January as well. Now, at this stage, if the answer is yes, that's great. If the answer is no, that's great as well. We've got more sales conversations lined up. We're going to keep going. Or if the answer is maybe, that's not so great. Because maybe is the one where they're not quite sure, so they're still influenceable. So would you be happy to go ahead? How does this sound? Are you happy to proceed? So think about it. Starbucks don't need to ask you that when you go to order a coffee. Nowhere needs to ask you this. But they make it really obvious. But you're going to have to ask, would you like to proceed? Are you happy to go ahead? That's all I'm asking. It is the most simple thing in the world for you to say. And what happens if they say, I'm not sure? I don't know. I need to think about it. Well, then you need to overcome objections. And we're going to smash these objections, by the way. So stop thinking of objections as a bad thing. Stop thinking of objections as something negative. And here is an example. When we booked our holiday at the beginning of the year, I said to Blair, I'm going to go on holiday. And he asked me, oh, well, where and how much does it cost? Now, he wasn't saying he didn't want to pay it. He wasn't saying he didn't want to go. What he was saying essentially was I didn't give him enough information, which I didn't. So by me saying, oh, well, we're going to go on holiday, I did not provide him with the information that we needed for him to make that decision. So when people have objections, all it means is you've not provided them with enough information for them to say yes or for them to say no. Maybe is the worst case scenario. This, oh, send me across the information, is the worst case scenario. We want a yes or we want a no, because a no means you can move on. A yes means you can sign them up and move on. So when they say, I've got some questions, do you have any questions at all? Ask them. Have I explained everything so you fully understand the value of what's on offer? Or do you have some questions? What are the key factors you need to think through to make the decision either way? Do you have any fears or worries about us working together? Ask them the freaking question. And then when they come back, do not get defensive. When they come back with the questions, just turn around and say, oh, I'm so sorry I didn't explain that better. Here is the response. And if they come back and they say about the question being about the investment, say I'm not quite sure, well then you have to have testimonials. You have to have examples of people who initially thought it was a wee bit out of their budget, but then they realised it was in their best interests. So, for example, if somebody comes back and says, oh, do you know what, I'm just not quite sure about the investment just now, I'm just not quite sure I can afford it. And just say, well, it's interesting that you say that, because another client that I'm working with right now, who's in a similar position to yourself, felt the same way, but now, after a month of working with her, I see her achieving all of the things that you want to achieve. I see her achieving the toned body, the increased level of fitness, the feeling amazing, and she's achieved that within 1 month. Tell me more. So you're just trying to get to the root of their problems. And remember, it's never to do with money, it's always to do with value. If people do bring up money, they're bringing it up as an excuse. So you need to find out, what do they mean? If they say it's expensive, what do you mean by expensive? Do you mind me asking for a bit more information? Don't get defensive. Oh, do you mind me asking what you mean? And then talk them through your payment plan. Say, it's funny that you mentioned that. That's exactly why I designed this payment plan. How do you feel about that? And remember, you've done your competitor analysis. You know what the competitors are charging, and you know why you're better than them. If you've not done that work, get back to week 2 and do that freaking work. But remember, overcoming objections, it's not a bad thing. It's literally just the questions that they want to ask. And actually treat objections as an opportunity to provide more information. But whatever you do, do not leave the provision of the costs until later on. Always tell them how much the investment is at the time of the sales conversation. Don't leave it until a later date, because they want to make that decision there and then while they're chatting to you, before other pressures come on their finances and before they actually have to divide it elsewhere. So, provided they've said yes, you're going to take the payment and sign them up. So you have to have a facility in place to take some form of a deposit. Okay? You have to have that facility in place, because what will happen is they will go home and they will forget about it, and they'll get a bill, or somebody will say, do you want to go out for dinner? Or somebody will say, let's try this course, or somebody will say something else, and they may change their minds. And what you want to do is you want to get that commitment. So you'll say, okay, to reserve your place on the workshop, to reserve the lovely jewellery, I'm just going to take a deposit just now of X amount. Yeah. And then you want to always end the meeting on a positive note of what's possible. Once they've agreed, once they've signed up, you're going to end your conversation with I'm so excited to work with you and I cannot wait to help you achieve X, Y, and Z. Now, sometimes you'll need to follow up, because sometimes the clients aren't ready to buy at the time. And this is where you get a no, it's not quite right for me right now. You know, they say, no, not right now. And is it something you consider in the future? You have to own the follow-up. It is not the customer's responsibility to remind you. So learn how to do this in a non-icky but committed way. So an example, Amazon remind me if I've left anything in my basket 2 days later. You know, they keep sending me emails, you've left this in your basket. You can use email marketing and social media for mass follow-ups. So if you're selling a course, if you're selling a package, and you're doing so through a Facebook group or through email marketing, you can use your email marketing to do that. But if it's a one-to-one sales conversation, you want to use personal messages for one-to-one. So let's say they really want to achieve X result. Maybe you come across a book in your bookshelf or a book on offer in Waterstones on that subject. Buy them the book and send it to them. Because remember, it's the goodwill here. If you are clearly demonstrating that you're going to help, it's not going to work for everyone, but it might work. Maybe it's a free ticket to an event. Maybe you get a ticket to an event and you send it to someone and say, oh, this event has popped up, would you like to come with me? Or maybe you just tell them about an event that might benefit from them in that area. Oh, I've seen this event on Eventbrite. I think it'd be fantastic for you. There you go, come along. Maybe it's a card, a thank you card, a motivational quote that you've seen on a card that you want to send to them. Or maybe you come across a magazine article that's relevant to them and their situation. You cut it out and you send it to them and you say, saw this and thought of you. Your follow-up has to be consistent and it has to not be icky. And you know what actually happens is most of the time people give up after one follow-up because they don't want to sound icky and they're not genuine, they're not consistent, and they're focusing on them. But go back to my example of the foundation. Just because you're ready to sell doesn't mean that they're ready to buy as such. So maybe sometimes you need to follow up again. And there's no harm in saying, I'm just touching base. I know you weren't ready the last time we spoke. I just wanted to let you know of these exciting new initiatives that we're having. So when it comes to following up, just be consistent. Keep following up until you're told no. It really is that simple. People are busy. People have a lot to do. So follow up until you're told yes or until you're told no. But follow up in a way that works for you through personal messages, books, event tickets, cards, magazine articles, motivational quotes, etc. So what do I need you to do now? First and foremost, I want you to craft out your sales conversation roadmap. I want you to follow those steps. What questions will you ask in advance? So what kind of things will you find out in advance? What will you ask on the day, and how will you follow up? And how will you follow up? I want you to rack your brains for all the ways that you could authentically follow up in a way that seems that you genuinely, well, doesn't seem, that shows that you genuinely care about this person. And then I want you to list all of the potential objections you might experience and how you can turn your content how you can turn this into content for your blog, newsletter, social media. So let's say it's price, because I know some of you are going to think it's price if they turn around and say, well, I think you might be more expensive, cost that gap. So tell them through a story, through a blog, through a video, tell them about how much more expensive it is not to use your services. Make it really interesting. I can tell you how much more expensive it is for you not to generate sales than it is to pay for my services. If it's time, tell them about how you can do this in X amount of time a day. If it's commitment, tell them about the commitment, but list out all of the potential objections. And I want you to smash them. I want you to come up with ironclad reasons why these objections are not true, and actually get them into your email marketing, get them into your Facebook marketing, get them into your newsletter, get them out considerably earlier so that you've actually smashed objections long before any sales conversations. And remember, the key to what we're doing here is we're always generating more sales conversations than we could ever possibly work with. Okay, I'm going to see you shortly in video 3, where we will look at creating a work with me page and customer experience. Chat to you soon. Bye.